Leonardo da Vinci once said that time waits just long enough for those who use it. So the question is, what are you doing with your time? We all have 24 hours in a day. What are you doing with your time? Are you building your dream, or are you helping someone else build theirs? Are you putting in the work every single day, every single moment of now? Are you planning for your future? They say planning is bringing the future into the present so you can do something about it now. So the question is this: what are you doing with your time? Remember, the time is always now.
And thank you for joining for the Time Is Always Now podcast. My name is Terence Young. I'm your host for the podcast today. This is a podcast that's dedicated to helping people get past their excuses, helping people get past saying they're going to do it someday or one day, and instead saying I'm going to do it right now, because that's the only time we have is right now. If you don't know who I am, my name is Terence Young. I am your host for the podcast. I am a New Thought transformational speaker, mindset coach, and author, a runner, and a workshop facilitator. So I help people guide them into finding their passion and get past those paradigms by harnessing the power in the eternal moment of now. That's what it's all about. So each week in my group, the Time Is Always Now Facebook group, we have a theme. And this week the theme was strategize. And how do we strategize to make our lives better? And every time that I speak, I like to leave someone with some tangible points that they can take and put into their lives right now. So in this podcast, I'm always dropping you some tangible nuggets that you can put into your life right now. So we're going to talk about strategizing and why strategizing is so important and how you can incorporate it into any facet of your life to make your life better right here, right now. So let's dive in. Now, if you want to donate to the podcast, by all means, you can do so. Just go to my website. It's terenceyoungnow.com. And you can do so there. Thank you in advance for that. It allows me to continue to do what I do. Now, for this week, it's strategize. So I'm going to share 3 quotes with you and some ideas on how we can incorporate strategy into our lives. First one is this: strategy is a choice. Strategy is a choice. So it means saying no to something, saying no to some things, saying yes to others. But strategy is a choice. I shared this in my group earlier this week. The U.S. men's basketball team. I love it. Strategy is a choice. We're pretty much better than the rest of the world in basketball. Not pretty much. We are, right? We always have been. But the world is caught up. I mean, basketball is a global sport now. The world has caught up. So we got to work to continue to win at the global level and win gold medals. Well, our basketball team lost to, I believe, France on their first game, which was kind of weird for USA to lose in basketball because we're sending our best players, right? But they talked about the strategy in the news story, and they say the coach, Popovich, that's the coach for the men's team, is wanting them to play team ball and moving around and everybody share and all this stuff. Well, that's a great strategy, but he's got the best players in the world on his team. He's got Kevin Durant and Damian Lillard. They don't play that way. So maybe he needs to change his strategy, right? Strategy is a choice. He wanted to play his strategy, but it's not working at the global game. It's not working with this group of team. With his team back in the NBA, maybe it does work. Somewhat. They didn't make the playoffs. But anyway, I digress. Strategy is a choice. So maybe Coach Popovich is going to change his strategy, hand the damn ball off to some of these players, set a pick and roll, and let them do what they do. And then we shouldn't have a problem in the Olympics as far as basketball is concerned. But strategy is a choice. So it's the same thing in your life, right? It's a choice. And if the strategy is not working, I posted a quote earlier, you always got to look at your results. This is important. It's going back to basketball. If the results aren't what you expect them to be, then be willing to change the strategy. You don't change the goal. The ultimate goal is still the same, but maybe you need to change your strategy. How can you incorporate this into your life? What part of your life, if you've got a strategy going that is not, maybe it's not working, right? If the strategy is not working, change the strategy. Remember, your strategy is a choice. You're not locked into it. You don't have to do it. If you have a strategy for your finances and you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, change your strategy. If you have a strategy about dating and you're doing the same thing, or your marriage, whatever it is, maybe you need to change your strategy. Strategy is a choice. It means saying no to some things and saying yes to others. Maybe you need to say no to some things and change your strategy to be the most successful you can be. That's number one. Second one is this: execute like there's no tomorrow. Strategize like there will be. I love this one. Execute. That means right here in the now, execute like there's no tomorrow. But strategize like there's going to be a tomorrow. I say this about my own life. I incorporate and run my business like I'm running a multi-million-dollar business right now. I execute every single day. As I'm recording this podcast right now on Friday, that's what I do every single Friday. I record my podcast. I have a schedule out. I'm preparing myself for when I have loads and tons and hundreds of people who want to be on this podcast. And I'll say, well, Friday's when we record. That's when we do it. That's in my schedule. You know, I do certain videos on certain days that I post for social media. I'm running my business. I'm executing in the moment, in the now, every single day, like there may not be a tomorrow. And I'm prepared for when the opportunity arises. And I'm strategizing to go forward and build the business out and continue to grow. I'm strategizing for that. So do both. Execute like there'll be no tomorrow, but strategize like there will be. This is so important. This is so important. So concentrate on the now, right? That I always say this: planning is bringing the future into the present, so you can do something about it now. Continue to plan. Continue to strategize. It's okay. We don't really know. We're not really promised tomorrow. That's why you execute in the day, in the moment of now. But you do strategize like it's going to be a tomorrow. Continue to do that. Yeah. Yeah, I like that some people will say, oh, this person doesn't focus on, planning for the future. They're just living in the moment. Well, there's balance there. You do want to plan for the future. You do want to have money in your bank account for when you retire, right? Those things are important. I get it. Execute in the now, but plan for the future too. You got to do both. And when you can do both in your finances, in your business, in your career, in your love life, whatever, it'll change your life. So important. Third one is this: everyone has skills and talent, but not everyone has a strategy. Everyone has skills and talents in something, not in everything, right? But in something. My brother, he's a coach, a chess coach. He loves chess. I don't know where it came from. I'm not crazy about chess at all, but somehow he's always loved chess, and he coaches chess. Right now, he coaches children. It's awesome. We were just talking last weekend about chess, and he was telling me about the strategy behind making moves in chess. He says you scan the board, you pick out what you think your best move is, he said, and then you don't do it. He said you don't do that move. After you find that move that you think is your best one, he goes, then you look for a better one. I was like, ooh, I love that. He said, then you look for it, after you find the move that you think is your move, don't do that one, then search for a better one. That's the strategy behind chess. Some people just go out and put the pieces out there and start moving around and playing. No, but if you want to become a master, that's what I learned from talking to him, and there's levels to it, right? You gotta have strategy. These amazing chess players have strategy on why they do what they do and how they've got to where they are right now. There's a strategy behind it, right? You got to think through everything. You got to think. I love this in the game of chess. You got to think before you move, just like you do in life. You got to think before you move. I love it. I can even compare it to basketball. As a player myself, and I see other players, as you get older, your athletic ability comes down some, but your mental ability goes up drastically. So now you can think better. I used to be on the court when I did still play. As I got older, I would see some of the younger kids just running up and down the court, but then I would be able to see the game in my mind, think it better than they did. I knew what to do to get them to move this way. I knew what to do. I knew what this guy was going to move and cut at the right time. I was thinking the game. I was thinking before I moved, while they were still using their athletic ability and just acting, right? And just going out there and doing it. Oh, it's so powerful when you think before you move. So think about this in your life. Are you thinking before you're moving? Do you have a strategy for your move? Whether it be your move from one place to another, or your move from one career to another, your move from one relationship to another, is there a strategy? Are you thinking before you move? Now don't get me wrong, you gotta move, right? You gotta move, but as they say in chess, as my brother taught me in chess, think before you move. Pick out your best move and then look for a better one. Strategically move in your life. If you think about it, if you do that, it'll change your life. So 3 ways here you can incorporate strategy into your life, right? Into your life so you can change your life for the better right here, right now. Remember, strategy is a choice. It's saying yes to some things and saying no to others. If your strategy is not working, maybe you need to say no to that and start doing something else. So important. Number 2 is execute like there's no tomorrow. Strategize like there will be. Execute in the moment, right? This is the only time we have right now. Execute in the moment, but strategize for the future. You got to do both. Number 3, everyone has skills and talents, right? Everybody's talented or skilled in something, but not everyone has a strategy. So whatever your chosen field is, there's people out there that don't have the strategy that you have, and that's why you can beat them, because you think before you move. Use that in your field, in whatever endeavor you're going after. Think before you move. Seek out your move and then don't do it. Look for a better one first. That's strategic thinking, and it will lead you to success in whatever you are going for in your life. If you do that, it'll change your life, and you can unequivocally say, I own the now, and I have won. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Time Is Always Now podcast. I appreciate you being with me, and please share this podcast with your friends and family, anybody on social media. I want people to be able to get this message and be able to share this message throughout the world. People need to hear more about how they can change their lives right here, right now. Not waiting on all the circumstances to be perfect, but doing something right now. That's what it's all about. So I appreciate you joining me for the Time Is Always Now podcast. My name's Terence Young, and with that, I'm signing off. Remember, the time is always now.